welcome to another installment of Tag Me In, where the triple threat brain tries to tag over the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of professional wrestling. Now, I probably should say duo because Jaeger may make his way here, but he had some things to take care of. So if he blesses us with his presence, then it'll be back to being the triple threat. But we got the dynamic duo right now of Tag, myself, the unofficially official Lip Dizzle, joined with none other than the less than stealthy unicorn himself, hailing from recluse, Scoopster, Loomis.
I can't give the stare, so just
Mm,
imagine it, formulate in your brain, and boom, there you go.
right?
I don't have an intense stare like that.
I mean, and you know what? And of course, ladies, he may not be here now, but he is here in spirit. But if he does pop up, then I mean, you'll get a welcome surprise of Mr. Jaeger Bombastic. So fantastic that if he was here, he would give you a beautiful ASMR kiss to the masses and always to make sure that he had your back. But
And
we
that's facts.
that is facts. But what also is facts is the world of professional wrestling just going crazy with just everything, everything,
Hmm.
everything, everything. Um, and of course, if you haven't been checking out Scoot's Instagram, he's been updating during the times of the updates to make sure that you all were updated. See how many times I threw update in there? To make sure that you guys were always well informed on the goings ons in the worlds of professional wrestling, primarily in terms of both WWE as well as AEW. So, but Scoot, what we got on the docket today?
So the third member, Jaeger, had brought it to the attention, and I read some more into it. Mr. Adam Cole has been offered multiple contracts and
That
has
he
turned
has.
them all down.
Hmm.
So the question is: Is Adam Cole going? Is he out?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about what he has left to do, I mean, there is nothing. He's done everything that really there is to do in NXT. I mean, he's had a very successful faction. He's held all the gold outside of the cruiserweight title within NXT. Um, he has what they've dominated and redefined the War Games match within
Hmm.
Undisputed Era itself. He is, the unofficial face of NXT, even without the title. So, and if we even think about like him going to main roster, I mean, what honestly would that do for him as far as benefiting him, especially when we look at the likes of Keith Lee, Karrion Cross, and so on and so forth, with the list
Because
continuing on.
I think that's the issue. I think all of these offers are mainly more or less, you're basically signing to get called up in a sense. It's not
Hmm.
so much of you're staying in NXT. You basically know at this point, if you're staying around with the company, you're going to be on Raw or SmackDown pretty soon.
Yeah, basically. And that's what you. I mean, we've all had our worries about Adam Cole going up to the main roster, and
Hmm.
yeah, where the money would be definitely very very good for him. You have to think about the person who Adam Cole is. You have to think about him being an indie darling. It within promotions like New Japan, within promotions like
Hmm.
Ring of Honor, and so on and so forth, to the point to where he has more leg room to grow within these companies, and especially with him being within the WWE system. He's now a much bigger star and understands what it means to play on a bigger stage, so to speak.
Yes.
So him bringing that to an AEW, him bringing that back to a New Japan or an Impact or even back to Ring of Honor, there's more doors open for him on that side rather than him going to the main roster. So yeah, there's no surprise that he would turn those down, but I think this is more of a confirmation that he's definitely leaving after SummerSlam weekend.
So, in your opinion, what Hail Mary does WWE has to throw in order for them to keep Adam Cole?
From that perspective, he would have to get creative control on a contract, because if he leaves the booking up to them, he's going to be a mid card lifer. Like, he's basically going to be Dolph Ziggler 2.0, because he can talk, he can sell, he can wrestle, he can go in the fucking ring. But if he leaves the booking up to them, he's not going anywhere because of his stature and his build altogether. So that it would have to be a very specific and meticulous contract that they actually present him, to the point to where it's like, okay, well, he has control. Triple H and Shawn Michaels, have a say in how he's booked on the main roster, and they're not going to go for that. Vince isn't going to go for that. Dunne, Laurinaitis, Pritchard, they're not going to go for that. They're going to be like, hey, hasta luego, we don't need it, because especially if they let somebody like Bray Wyatt go, who had some type of creative control.
Yeah.
So, and I say some type because I already know that there's been bickering back and forth between Wyatt and Vince, to the point to where that is pretty much what caused him to be released anyway. Damn the whole budget cuts. So yeah, that's the only thing I can say. Other than that, they really don't have anything, because I'm pretty sure they've thrown a lot of shit his way, just like they did with FTR when they said that they'll book certain things here and there, and then all of a sudden they give them the titles, and then they try to book some bullshit ass gimmick on them, to the point to where they're like, nah, we're good, we're done, we're done.
Yep.
I'd happily see Cole go from NXT, and I know, and it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day, is with the contract situation, is that how a lot of these guys don't realize when his contract is up or when he has an extension and stuff like that. It's always just a misunderstanding or miscommunication between when it's up and when it's doing all this other stuff. There's a part of me, and this is me completely going off a conspiracy theory in my own head. I think Triple H is in control of all of this, and I think he's like, you know what, this is the way you beat this system. This is how you're going to get out of this, to where it's like, you know what, I know you can succeed elsewhere, and I would rather not have you in a position where you don't grow over there. Because we look at Samoa Joe, he went back to NXT. He still has more to do. I mean, even like, and we'll get into it later on, but the first two-time NXT champion, soon to be the first ever three-time NXT champion. There's a lot for Samoa Joe to do in that position over there, rather than Cole, being the longest reigning NXT champion, tag team champion, North American champion, leader of one of the most successful stable in NXT. So yeah, if Triple H is behind a lot of this, I would not be surprised.
Well, I'm glad you kind of brought that up, because there are rumors that Pete Dunne is in the same position. Apparently, there's word that Pete Dunne has been in the same position of Cole, that his contract might be up sooner than they think, and they're trying to figure out what to do with Dunne. And it says that sources say that it may be, his contract could be up after SummerSlam as well, after SummerSlam weekend.
I think, see, this is where it's different from Cole, because I think that Pete Dunne, he has more room to grow. So with Cole gone, this would actually benefit Dunne a little bit more, especially, of course, we'll get
Mhm.
into it as well. But his trio with Lorcan and
Rich.
Ridge, um, I think he can now build his stock even more to where he will be a major player as far as um, in terms of him being a free agent later on. So I think that he would benefit from actually signing another year or so in NXT to basically renew his contract for a little bit, but specifically for NXT because he's in the same boat with Cole, where I don't think that they would do much with him on the main roster outside of again putting him in the mid card and having him be a major player there.
Hmm.
So, um, yeah, I think he would benefit from a contract extension because again, even right now with me thinking about it, there's a lot of places Dunn could go, but because he hasn't made a big enough splash in NXT at the moment, outside of him being the previous longest reigning NXT UK champion,
Yeah.
there's still nothing on his portfolio under the WWE umbrella that says, hey, this dude is a marquee guy.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
So
I can
yeah,
agree with
I think he should stay just for a little bit longer. At least ride this new trio out for a little bit and see where that takes him, and then win a couple of belts um, in NXT, and then maybe depart from there.
Uh, I want to save the other news story because I want to get Jaeger's opinion, and that's basically the whole Ronda Rousey's comment toward Bray Wyatt's release. But I do want to get Jaeger's perspective on that one too. But of course, Ronda's tweet, just to tell the people if you hadn't seen it, I've seen the same fans chanting "We want Wyatt" last night, chanting "We want beach balls" over Bray Wyatt performing. If the WWE treated him like he was expendable, it was because of you ungrateful idiots did it first.
Yeah, seen his tweet, dissected it, and there was a point where I almost agreed with her for a split second. But
Mm-hmm.
then my logical mind kicked in and the gear started turning. And I realized that and I mean this with all the respect slash disrespect in the world.
Okay.
Fuck Ronda Rousey, the professional wrestler.
Oh, you just made that young lady back there very happy.
And I say this for this specific reason because one, yeah, all respect to her, you know, doing the whole WWE thing, actually treating it seriously in the very beginning in her what 1 to 2 years that she was there.
Here
She
and
she she
like
she
years some change.
yeah, so she went through the whole like tour and everything and did the whole on the road thing. And all respect to her, she didn't pull a Goldberg where she only came every now and then. Like she wrestled on as many shows as she could. So
Mm-hmm.
respect to that. But then there's this other side of me that's like, okay, would she have been booked the way that she had been booked had she not been Ronda Rousey, the fighter? So
Absolutely not.
so now that leads me to this situation, her tweet. You know when you're because of course you're a dog owner.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a dog and that dog is not catered to, 9 times out of 10, that dog's way of expressing his disapproval of the way that you've been raising them, he or she, they usually act out. They'll
Mm-hmm.
usually use the restroom inside the house. They'll give some type of sign that you're not doing your job as a dog owner.
Yeah, my
So
dog usually gives the most judgmental looks.
see, so during that time, and this is and so and yes, there was because I went back and looked on this. I believe it was during that time of the whole the leader of worlds thing with Bray Wyatt
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Matt
apparently
Hardy.
it was doing Bray and Matt Hardy. Apparently, one of their matches, the fans was chanting some stuff or whatever. But yeah,
Okay. Now, those of you who are watching this, you can easily sit because I will give all the time in the world in the comments and everything for y'all to sit here and tell me how well was that received.
it wasn't well received because
It
they was already fumbling Wyatt then, and then they fumbled broken Matt Hardy. So when you have two fumbles in a row, it's going to be hard to try to put that together.
mm-hmm. And see, this again, the reason I use that analogy with the whole dog situation is because these are fans letting WWE know that their product is trash. And it's like, hey, do better or we're going to continue to shit all over this product, which is why the beach balls came into play, which is why the CM Punk chants happened, which is why the boring chants happened, which is why the fans got out of line and it forced Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Shane McMahon, and Triple H to stand in the middle of the ring and give some bullshit ass statement to say, "Hey, you are in control of this. We follow what you say," and that basically led to absolutely nothing because all they did was turn around and do the exact same thing that they had been doing from the very beginning, which is whatever it is that they wanted to do. Damn, whatever the fans wanted. So it's no surprise. And
Mm-hmm.
if Ronda had been booked like everybody else had been booked, then she wouldn't be saying the things that she's saying because she was a privileged situation on her end. And it's funny that she's in a privileged situation to say that because when you look at John Cena, who had been putting over talent, he recently stated that he wishes he could basically be young, when I'm paraphrasing, that he could be young for much longer because he wants to help WWE in terms of booking and everything because
Mm-hmm.
WWE books they rely too much on their older talent instead of booking new talent.
Yes,
This is coming from
I
John
was gonna
Cena.
potentially bring that up for a hot tag situation, but yes, you're right. Cena
Okay.
did make those comments, and it's kind of hinting of what I've said before with the whole WWE won't create a new megastar anymore because Vince
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want that power um, given to those people. He doesn't
Yeah.
want a John Cena who could be like, "Hey, they calling me for Suicide Squad. I'll be gone for about 6, 7 months. Peace." You know, he doesn't
Exactly.
want a Batista who can come up there and be like, "Yo, they want me to be in Dune, or they want me to be in the new Guardians movie. They want me to be just some dude in the movie just standing there. I'll be gone 5, 6 months. Peace."
Yeah.
You know, they don't want that anymore. They don't want they don't want the opportunity for the New Day to be like, yo, they want us to be stars in these new kids movie. Peace. You know, they don't want
Right.
that. They don't want they don't want Bailey to be like, yo, they want me to be the villain in this movie. You know, they don't want that unless it's a WWE produced movie. But they don't want that. They don't want that hostageness. They don't want the fact that, hey, if Hollywood is calling me, the price goes up.
Exactly.
They don't want Vince doesn't want that anymore. You know, that was the reason why he was shutting down Twitches and YouTubes and cameos. Because it's like, oh, if y'all keep getting money like this elsewhere, then y'all gonna start demanding me for more money because obviously you must be popular. So obviously y'all gonna be like, well, Vince, the price goes up now. They're gonna be like,
Exactly.
I guess Vince must have had watched that Dave Chappelle skit back on the Chappelle show when they announced he had got that $50 million, and everywhere he went, it was like the price went up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Vince doesn't want that to happen, so that's why Cena and Batista will be and Brock will be the last three people who's going to get that opportunity.
At this point, yeah. I mean, other than Roman, who has the potential to be that,
He does.
um, but I think what they're doing with him is they're putting so much on his plate to make him basically they're booking him so well to where it's like he's not going to care about doing anything else because of the fact that he is basically being booked the way that he should have been booked a long time ago. So, yeah, that's just trash. I mean, not the booking. Roman's booking isn't trash. I'm just saying that the situation in itself is what is trash because whereas they could be making more stars, they're so worried about who they could be building up as a new star to the point to where they're not allowing their actual company to grow and flourish the way that it needs to. And that in itself is probably one of the biggest problems because it's hurting the company more than it is helping when you suppress these superstars.
Because I mean, and even if we want to tie that back to Ronda, let's be honest. That year Ronda was there, she didn't elevate the women's division. Nope. I mean, let's really be honest. She didn't elevate the women's division.
Becky became the biggest women's star over there during that time.
I mean, you're telling me when Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax got a chance to wrestle, Nia should have squashed Bliss from the way that storyline went. But no, she legit had a match against Nia. But when Bliss fought Rousey, it was over like that. So it wasn't like Ronda did much elevating herself. Like it wasn't like she was so this, I'm gonna make sure all the women around me is gonna come up too. So it wasn't like that was the case in Ronda's year she was there. She just got upset at the fact that she wasn't expecting the fans to turn on her.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yep, and that's another thing because of the fact that the fans let her know how they felt about her, and she just did not like that.
No,
so
at all.
She's had a vendetta against the fans from that point on because she expected to just be praised throughout the entire time. Because when she first came in with that match, that tag match at WrestleMania she had with Kurt Angle against Stephanie and Trips, everybody praised her because they didn't expect that. So she went further off of that, thinking, okay, this is what's I've made it. But when you get booked a certain way and the fans don't think you deserve it, they are going to let you know, and they let her know. So, because to this day, the only match that Ronda has lost has been that match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and she left, and then she left. Just like she left, she hadn't been seen since. So
ridiculous.
But yeah, so like I said, I understand what she's saying with the tweet because yes, it could potentially change the company's outlook on certain people. But the reason why I always take stuff like that with a grain of salt at times is because it's certain cities you might go to where you might get different reactions from folks. You know, and this is not so much a hometown thing, but you might go to a city where all the heels get cheered and all the faces get booed. You might go somewhere to where all the faces get cheered and the heels get booed, like it's quote unquote supposed to be. You might go to some place where, oh shit, they cheering crazy for this quote unquote jobber who we don't really care nothing about, but he's getting the pops or she's getting the pops like we ain't never seen before. So sometimes it's with a grain of salt sometimes, and then like you said too, it depends on how this certain superstar is booked. If they booked in a way where it's like, I don't want to cheer for this, then they're gonna boo.
Yeah,
like Rusev at that day was a clear heel, but everybody in there was chanting Rusev Day.
Yeah, and that's and I'm glad you brought that up because I actually decided to go back and watch Raw this week when I heard about the fans hijacking the show.
Yeah,
just let everybody know it wasn't really hijacking. They did chant a lot, but WWE suppress that noise and actually put their own.
Hold on, Dizzle. Go ahead and keep talking. I got to go fix something right quick.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, WWE didn't suppress. Wow, really? Well, that's messed up. But whatever.
That's an accident. I will change it.
Yeah, WWE suppressed that crowd noise and input their own crowd noises during part of the show here and there. And that is the point I'm trying to make, because when you look at AEW handles crowd, they allow the fans to root for who they want to root for, which is why Scoot has brought up time and time again that there's no heels and or faces within AEW. It's just pretty much whatever. So it's basically on who the fans decide who they like, and they book that way. Now they may book somebody, in terms of being heel and face. When you think about the Elite, they book them as traditional heels. But if the fans like them, they like them. If they don't and they boo, it's whatever. AEW is still going to book the way that they intend to book. Now, they still listen to the fans, and if the trajectory allows the fans to dictate to be, okay, you know what, we're behind this person, we want this person to be that face. In case of a Jon Moxley may be a face to the fans, but in himself, he goes by his own rules. Whether you're a face, whether you're a heel, he's always going to treat you the exact same, unless you're an Eddie Kingston, unless you're a Darby Allin, where he will treat you differently. And, we'll get into that when we get into our AEW recap. But that's a difference between WWE main roster and AEW, the way that they treat the fans. If WWE allowed things to go the way that they did a long time ago, things would probably go a lot smoother for them. And they just don't see that, because, again, you think about somebody like Vince McMahon, who's so big-headed in the way that he thinks, because in his mind, he believes he knows more. He's going to run with the way that he's been booking things for the longest. And you look at a guy like Triple H in NXT, where they'll see the trajectory of where they're going with something. Case in point, Hit Row, clear faces right now, but the way they were booked were heels. But because, same thing with them and Cameron Grimes, the way that they've been booked, they are more so faces now, because the fans have put them over, and they've been booked accordingly to transition that way. Yes. Main roster just does not get that. So, yeah, that's just been the main issue there. But yeah, and just for my assessment of Raw, it was trash. It was still trash. It's going to continue to be trash.
That's why when we was doing that tier list, I was watching it on and off, and then it was like, oh, speaking of, if y'all didn't go check that out, we did a tier list of 56 different stables in WWF, WWE, and we ranked them. And let us know what y'all think.
Shit, but we got more to come.
But yeah, I'm at the point to where Raw would only be watched based off of situational events. But I'm done.
Yeah, it was unbearable for me, because because of course I DVR a lot of stuff, and so I had that on DVR, because I don't know why I haven't canceled it yet, but it was up, and I watched it again, and I was like, I was fast forwarding, and it's just like I just kept having to fast forward over and over again, because everything was just slightly unbearable. I'm like, why is this still going on? Like, why is this even booked this way? It just doesn't make any sense. And it's in some cases,
but the fact that you're literally taking the show and booking it the same way every week, like, you're literally giving, granted, I understand these fans get to see it live compared to these fans, but literally it's the same thing every week.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, hey, they paid their money. They're going to go see it. We don't give a damn at this point.
Not at all.
So, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, you have so much talent, so many ways you can take things, but then you still constantly doing the same shit. And then you wonder why people get booed, people get cheered, people get fatigued, your numbers slip, you get stuff like this. You wonder why, you know what? To be perfectly honest with you, if they was to take a secret poll in that locker room, I would not be surprised. At least 35 to 40% of the wrestlers would be like, I wouldn't mind leaving.
Oh yeah, I believe
maybe
it
not
was
so much going to AEW, but at least leaving WWE system.
I think it was Dax. If it wasn't Dax, it was somebody else. But I remember one of them going on record to say that, yeah, the amount of text messages they get about how just frustrated a lot of the current guys on the brand are with the product is crazy. So, like all these guys are being held hostage under contract.
Yeah. They're being held hostage under these contracts, and it's one of those situations to where you got to either ride it out or get released, or ride it out and get I don't know.
Right? So that's the only option they got.
Who wants to do something else, and unfortunately, they can only do that.
Yeah.
It has to fill away, because not only that, but to deny someone's talent, to deny someone's skill. Like I can see, like I said, with the whole Rick, like when we talk about Monday, with the whole Ric Flair thing, that's a whatever. It's not like Rick was wrestling. It's not like Rick was really managing. It was just really for that little cheesy storyline with Charlotte and Lacey Evans. So it wasn't like it was one of those, oh, Rick was detrimental to the company. And that's the reason why I hated the way people treated it that way. It was like, Rick wasn't really doing that, and guys, calm down.
Yeah, exactly.
But you see Bray Wyatt. Here it is, because Mickie James said something amazing about that Bray Wyatt situation.
Oh yeah, she definitely.
She was like, "Oh, so you mean you're gonna take this man gimmick who was over and give it to somebody else?" And then when you realize, then it's like, "All right, boom, you can go." Like, when you take some of these people who recently left and who was recently released or fired or whatever you want to call it, the issue is that this is a chance now. A lot of these people can have a career renaissance. True. There's not too many times now a person in the WWE system can have a career renaissance. Like right now, we're not going to see Ricochet become world champion.
No, not in the slightest.
Unless it just somehow leads to it. But as of right now, Ricochet, Morrison, and a lot of these other guys won't see that title again.
And they definitely deserve it.
The last person who's probably going to truly get that career renaissance like that, maybe if you want to count Drew McIntyre, you can. But really, Kofi Kingston is probably going to be the last person.
Of that size?
And maybe Big E, because most likely Big E is going to win the world title. But it wouldn't be so much a career renaissance with Big E, because ever since New Day, his career never really been down. But Kofi Kingston is probably going to be the last person, because he got a chance to become world champion.
Yeah.
But for the most part, nobody's going to really get that push. And then in this case, what's necessarily a push in WWE?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. What is considered a push?
I feel like that word is so loosely used in WWE that we think a push in WWE's case is that they didn't round out 5 wins in a row. Like, you know, they didn't round off 5 wins in a row. Like, oh, could the superstar be getting the push? No, that was their push right there. Them getting them 5 wins week to week to week. That was the push.
Like, that was it.
That was it. So to tie it back to Ronda's tweet, I can understand what Ronda is saying, but at the same time, you can't really say that due to the fact of if you're booked in a certain way, how do you think the fans gonna react?
Yeah, that's true.
Like for
Especially,
instance, like for instance, if all of a sudden, let's just say all of a sudden, not to be racial, not to stereotype or anything, let's just say in 3 weeks, Damian Priest started looking like Pablo Escobar or Scarface, it's gonna be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be like, what in the fuck is this? Then the fans are gonna probably start booing it, not because they hate Priest, it's because what the fuck have you done to Priest?
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's how I truly feel with that situation. And once again, we're gonna bring it up a little bit more. Of course, we want to get Jaeger's opinion on this, but until then, we could definitely go on here and start talking about this NXT.
Well, spoiler alert for those of you know, NXT let me down slightly, and I'll get into that
Okay, I'm glad.
when we
Okay, I'm
go through
glad.
that.
I don't feel so bad. I was in the same boat. Like there was things that highlight, which of course the people know. My biggest highlight, well, of course, was Hit Row and Legato, but there was things that did kind of. I was like, okay,
Indeed. Well, you know what? Sue, run us through this amazing start to NXT.
All right. So let me tell you what happened, folks. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Deasley like to be professional with it. I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm gonna try to tell y'all what I say in the words I want to use. But let's just say this night started off with Legatos, Mendoza, and Wilde versus Hit Rose, Adonis, and Top Dolla in a tag team match. The beef was on, people. It was sizzling on the grill. These folks was out here beefing. I loved it because they was jaw jacking towards each other. They let you know in this match that it was a rivalry between these two groups, with the centerpiece, of course, being Swerve Santos and that NXT North American title. So, of course, it started off like any other tag team match. Good moves, good things. More and more each week, I am loving Top Dolla. Because like he says, who's hotter than Top Dolla? Not nada. Not nada. And it was on display. Of course, there was interference. Of course, Santos was interfering. Swerve and B-Fab was doing their interference. Of course, they wasn't going to let, no team was going to let the other team get the W until the ultimate happened. Santos got a chance to pull some bullshit. Where they took out. Yeah, didn't they take out Top Dolla and then they end up pinning Ashante? Is that how it went?
Say it again?
No, I'm sorry. It ended in disqualification because Santos hit Top Dolla in the back with a chair. He got tired of watching his boys getting trounced upon, so he decided to hit Top Dolla with a chair. And of course, it calls for DQ. Of course, Hit Row wins by DQ. Then it leads to the beatdown, where they was trying to beat down, but once again, everybody thinks they Colossus until Colossus steps in the room.
And this right here, this is where I was gonna get mad. This is gonna be my first rep about the show, but my mind changed because I had to realize what happened last week. Because I was like, wait, it seems like they're booking Hit Row so strong at the detriment of Legado del Fantasma. But then I realized that Legado cost them the match the previous week against Imperium. So I was like, they're basically keeping them here. So this made sense. Because I was going to get mad at first, but I was like, okay, you know what? No, everything about this makes sense. The only problem that I do have is like, Santos, why'd you take the grill instead of stealing doing the cliche thing to steal the North American Championship.
Right? I guess he wanted to do something different. I guess he wanted to steal something personal.
I mean, I could see that, but I mean, he can always go and make another grill.
I guess he thought that is true, but I guess he thought stealing the title was cliche.
Fair enough. I mean, I can agree with that.
So let me take the title. I mean, that's the title. Let me take the grill. But the problem is it a situation where he's like, I want that grill back, you know? Or is it just one of those, hey, Santos, I got another one, you know?
But, exactly. And then bam, there's Jaeger.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. I'm not gonna steal your thing.
That man and popped up. Hey, when we tell y'all, see, Jaeger is the perfect example of when the lights go black and you're like, oh no, who's coming? And then you see Jaeger just standing there and you're like, yes.
Anyway.
But yeah, we're right now talking about Hit Row versus Legado.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unfortunately, I was not able to catch NXT this week.
Oh, it's fine. We'll audibly walk you through it.
Oh man, that's fine. And I will give live reactions like, hey, they did what? Anyway.
But yeah, so it ended with, of course, Santos taking Swerve's grill. And then it ended. Actually, it was funny because it ended with Hit Row actually coming back and beating up them because B5 hit. Was it Wilde with the chair?
I think B5 hit Santos with the chair.
No, it wasn't Santos. It was either Wilde or Mendoza she hit with the chair.
Damn it! Then yeah, I definitely.
Santos was in the middle, and she hit whoever was to the right of Santos, or to the left.
Okay. I think it may have been Mendoza.
Yeah, and then that's when they started to make the comeback against Legado, but once again, Santos got away with Swerve grill.
Yeah, because Top Dollar had pulling Swerve outside the ring.
He just took it out of his mouth, or how did that?
So basically, what happened during the tag team match, it ended in disqualification because Santos hit Top Dollar with a chair.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it led to them beating down Hit Row, and they was beating down Swerve, and they was going to do the whole chair on the neck thing. Yeah. And before they did that, Santos dug in Swerve's mouth and took his grill.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did that, that's when Colossus got up and was like, y'all ain't about to hurt the homie. So when they got up, they were all in the ring ready to start fighting again. And then that's when B5 came with the chair from behind and hit, I think it was Mendoza. And then they all proceed to beat the shit up out of Wilde.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Mendoza and Wilde just keep taking bumps after bumps every week.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's how it ended. So we definitely, all I'm going to say this right now, it is a strong possibility that Swerve versus Santos might be the sleeper match of the night at TakeOver.
Oh, that's what it was. She hit Wilde.
She hit Wilde? Okay.
And that's when Top Dollar came and hit that damn drop kick on Santos and
that's
Mendoza.
Right. He hit the double drop kick. Yeah.
Oh.
That's right. That's what
big
happened.
Men do big things.
Big men do big things. Because once before, like I said, who hotter than Top Dollar? Nada. But yeah, Swerve and Santos is gonna put on a nice ass match at TakeOver.
I feel it.
Just like Swerve and Reed did during that gauntlet match. Or that yeah. So
however, I really gotta ask, how like mid 2000s is it to jack a grill out of somebody's mouth though?
Well, that's what Lip said. Lip said he couldn't do the cliche thing by taking the title. And I said, well, I guess he didn't want to do the cliche thing by taking the title.
I mean, yeah. I was just like, all right, but that just reminds me of something that you would hear like of stories in like high school or middle school, like, man, that fool jacked my grill,
yeah.
blah blah blah, like, all right, that's nasty, but all right.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, heavily unsanitary.
Oh
But,
yeah,
you know,
we are in a pandemic, people. This is not
right?
a.
It's like we're not in those times anymore. We're just, you know, we can just, you know, be free with the germs. You got to be
For
cautious
real.
around here. But
I'll
yeah,
ask what's in the
that's.
scoop later.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna have something for you.
Oh, okay.
But the next shit was actually the beginning of what would start the downtrend of the things that pissed me off about this show. Speaking of cliche stuff,
Downtrend.
yes, because again, because you had hopped on a little bit after. I basically prefaced this being I was not happy with NXT overall.
Loki, I
So
swear to God. He's got
so
a
yeah,
squeak. The one squeak toy. The one squeak toy in the house that I had kept hidden from him, and he found it somehow.
And he gonna be mad irritated with it too.
right.
He gonna let you know.
No, that's why it's about to go like under the bed where he can't get it, and then he's gonna throw a fit. Be right back.
But yeah, this started the beginning of what would start my downtrend of what I didn't like about the show, and that started with Samoa Joe backstage segment with Regal.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cool to you know the precaution. No, you're good. It's cool. It's cool to have the precaution of not wanting Joe to get out of hand because he is provoked. So my thing is, Joe didn't have a match. Like, so there's no reason for him to be on the show. So it's like, if that's the case, why not just leave Joe off the show or have him just or say, hey, you know what, leave? Because if there's no reason for you to be there, especially if you're not management anymore, why are you there?
Because you would think, Regal would be like, Joe, I need you to go home.
Correct.
Go home.
Like that would make more sense. Or if he was caused, or matter of fact, if the segment that happened with Cross happened earlier, and then they had that whole issue, then I could be like, okay, well, hey, if you're going to be here, I'm going to put security. But it just made no sense for him to be like, yeah, I'm going to keep security around you when you're when you don't really have a reason to be here. You don't have a match.
But it's the cheesy way he said it. The guys who how he said it, the guys you use for the guy you have security for now securing you, some shit like that. He said,
yeah,
all right, I guess whatever.
It just threw me off a little bit, but because it just left me as like, then just send him home. Why use that? Yeah, why use that manpower to cover somebody who's not really obligated to be there right now? And neither was Cross, but because he wanted it. He wanted it that bad.
He really did. Oh my God.
But after that, we get a returning Rich Holland against Ikemen Jiro.
Now, I know how you let me take the reins before, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the reins on this one if you don't mind.
Okay. Oh, I do not at all.
This squash match lasted way too long.
Damn.
It did.
Shouts out to Jiro with the watermelon drip, but
right,
this match lasted way too long. Way too long. Yes, it was good to see Ridge again, and him doing what he does, but it lasted way too long for a squash match.
Let's see. Jiro was just featured in the tournament, so I guess they wanted to give him a little more shine, right?
But the problem was, it would have been different. I think literally Jiro did like 3 moves.
Yeah.
It was put this way. The only thing that got the heat more on Ridge was that he stripped the jacket off of Jiro.
Yep.
And then the moment he did that, the crowd went crazy. The crowd was like, "Oh hell no! How dare you take that man's jacket off?" But other than that, that match lasted way too long for a squash match.
Yeah. Now, Jiro definitely sold his ass off
He
for
did.
Holland,
He did.
but other than that, it was pretty much paint by the numbers we expected this was going to happen. The moment that Ridge Holland had a match, it was like, yeah, he's definitely going over.
Yes.
But yeah, after that, only Lorcan and Pete Dunne got in the ring with Holland, and Pete Dunne got on the mic and talked about how they were the three most dangerous men in NXT. So they didn't really they didn't establish that they were a stable. They're just three of the deadliest men in NXT. Yeah, but this I'm happy about for Lorcan's sake, because for so long we've talked about Danny Burch and Only Lorcan being an amazing tag team who was deserving of the tag team titles, but then didn't do anything with them. So now that Burch is hurt, Lorcan is able to be in some type of role that presents a promising future for him with Dunne and Holland. So he can kind of get that rub with these two and then build his stock up along the way. And if they are stable, I don't know who's supposed to be the leader, because Ridge Holland has a lot of moments that I've seen since he's returned that show him like, yo, I'm the big dog here. And these motherfuckers are tag team.
Done. I assume it'll be done due to the fact of he's quote unquote the veteran. So I'll assume Dunne will still be the leader, while Ridge would just be like his, not so much. I mean, he'll be more beyond than just his heavy, but he'll be his heavy.
More
that makes sense. Yeah, right.
I don't
know. Let's see. Did they go into a match of this, or did they pretty much? I think they just talked about what was going to happen during this portion, because I think this went pretty much right into the match between Fish and Cole. I'm sorry. Fish and Strong. Wow.
Ooh, let me.
Speaking of which, sorry, Jaeger. Speaking of Cole, is just the fact that now we have two halves of Undisputed Era in feuds with one another.
Yes.
And this, of course, is the weaker of the two because it ended in a night. So yeah, fuck it. We'll just roll into it. So Roderick Strong with the coal mine.
Let me get my shit off, because
Bobby Fish. Go ahead, Scoot.
Was out there.
Wait,
boy,
the coal mine was out there?
The Diamond Mine was out there, yes. And boy, oh boy, this match was boring as hell.
Well then,
I really truly hate being that guy, but I did not. Whoo boy.
What shit is there to get off then if this match was boring?
That was the shit I was getting off, that this match was boring.
Okay.
No, definitely.
This was the one time that I didn't see Fish in the best light, nor did I see Strong and Diamond Mine in the best light, because honestly, this match led to the fact that Strong and Kushida is going to happen.
Yeah,
that's all that happens. It literally led to that. The fact that Strong and Kushida is a definite. We don't know if it's going to be on TakeOver or not, but I think they called out Kushida. Kushida had a vignette later on that said, if you want this cruiserweight title, then you got it. So we don't know when it's happening, but this match was not doing it for me. I have much love and respect for both of these guys, but it was not doing it for me.
Not at all. And this is another thing that pissed me off, which, I mean, we'll just throw it in here with this because it happened later on. But like Scoot said, that promo by Kushida about him acknowledging Roderick Strong and giving him that title match. Kushida was booked so well with his cruiserweight title. The moment that the coal mine got into the picture, it halted all of Kushida's title defenses where he was coming in on a weekly or bi-weekly basis defending this title, and now it's just like just stop. Which I'm like, why would y'all stop that? Because that could have easily helped build strong when he came and beat Kushida, or at least
not even only that, they could have still kept it while the whole time Diamond Mine could have been at the ramp watching his matches.
They that now see that would have been a real good angle as well.
Because
for scouting,
so much Diamond Mine, it could have been Hachiman. Hachiman could have been there scouting the whole. Anytime Kushida had a match, they would have been like, he is sitting there scouting Kushida's matches and but nope, they just halted. We haven't seen Kushida since that tag team match.
And that was what, two weeks ago?
2 weeks.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just no surprise. Roderick Strong goes over. It's depleting Bobby Fish's stock for the most part.
It is.
I don't know what else he's going to be able to do. This may put him as the weak link in the Undisputed Era to no fault of his own. He's gotten injured more times than anybody in Undisputed Era. So,
and that's what hurt him with UE was the fact that his injuries did it. His injuries made it to where he didn't look like such a strong member, unfortunately.
Yeah. So hopefully there's a turnaround for him to where he can build his own stock up and become something better than what he is right now. So, but from there we got
business forever.
You know what? I'm gonna allow that because you know what, this show was what it was. So I'm just gonna add that as insult to injury. Grimes and LA Knight had a backstage segment where they were getting ready for their match with Grizzled Young Veterans, GYV. And you know, this is the NXT universe teasing me because I've wanted this because I've alluded to it, but they gave it to me but half-assed. Because not only did they give it to me, but they gave it to me in a way to where it was lackluster because LA Knight made Cameron Grimes wrestle in his butler outfit rather than wrestling in his ring gear. So when we finally get to the actual match, Cameron Grimes, his music hits and he comes out for a very 5-second entrance, only so that way LA Knight can have his full-on entrance with Cameron Grimes walking behind him and doing the whole spill of LA Knight doing his pose on the top rope, and then Cameron Grimes holding the ropes open for him. And then you get GYV coming out and doing their spectacular shit every single time, getting on the mic and basically stating that everybody should know that if you're in the tag division in that ring, you need to step aside or get run. I'm paraphrasing, or get run over by GYV because that's the status quo when it comes to Grizzled Young Veterans. This was not well. I mean, it was surprising for a second because I didn't know if I expected LA Knight and Cameron Grimes to win, but there's a part of me that did not expect GYV to win because that's clearly who went over. But they did it in a way. Oh, go ahead.
Since Jaeger didn't see it, you leaving out the one detail.
So they were. So of course the match went on. The match went on regular. There was a lot of tag in, tag out.
No. I'm talking about the promo they had. Remember in the promo, Grimes told Knight, at the end of the day, I am your butler, and you have my word, and you also have, you have my word as a tag team partner.
Yeah.
And Knight told
I have your back.
The same thing. Knight was like, I'm a man of my word, so I have your back as a tag team partner.
Mm-hmm.
Now we fast forward to what happened in the match.
So there were still regular tags in, tags out. So it seemed pretty standard. So LA Knight tagged Grimes in, and Grimes was going and doing his thing, and then it got to a point where GOAV started to get the upper hand on Grimes. So Grimes went for a tag for LA Knight. LA Knight had his hand out, ready to tag Grimes, and then he just jumped down at the very last second. It was very good as far as timing wise.
It was.
So they had this big ass stare down, and
he was like, you the butler, I'm the main guy. You think I'm gonna go back in there? If you want to win the match, you go back there and win the match. And then that's when Grimes started to hulk out.
Yeah, he got fired up.
Outfit off, well, the top. He started wrestling in the pants, but unfortunately, it still was a 2-on-1 situation. It got
numbers took over.
Grimes was hit with the ticket to mayhem.
Oh, it was a beautiful transition into the.
It was a beautiful transition for that ticket to mayhem. He was hit with that ticket to mayhem. 1, 2, 3. The Grizzled young veterans takes that W,
and keeps them strong in the tag division.
Yep. Yeah. And when Grimes was on the apron, Mr. DiBiase comes to the ring and was like, Grimes, you got to get out of this situation, my man.
Yeah, I know you're a man of your word.
He proceeds to go, he proceeds to help Grimes to the back.
Yep. So I know you're a man of your word, but you got to figure out a way to get out of this, which of course is going to lead to them at TakeOver 36. Grimes is going to find a way to get himself out of this whole Butler situation and still win that $1 million championship, which is where he's going to win that shit at TakeOver 36 because it makes the most sense, and they're booking this shit very well. So, yeah, I have full faith in this whole storyline.
Hey, before we go, because I don't know what was the next match, but can we go ahead and get this out the way? Because let's just go ahead and discuss this. Zoe Stark and Io Shirai was at a restaurant. Remember last week when Zoe was like, "We need to go out, try to be a team."
They have a little girl time. They have a little date.
Yeah,
I mean, not a date, but you know what I mean.
They had a little girls' night out at a little sushi restaurant. Io was talking to the waitress. They was both speaking Japanese. And Zoe was looking at the menu like, "What the hell am I gonna order?" And she was like, "Well, I get the same thing Io has."
Because Zoe Stark's never gotten sushi before, right?
I guess not. But Io ordered like octopus and all this other stuff. So they did the typical thing with Io eating. Zoe was eating and was spitting out the food and putting it in napkins. And then there was one part where I think she was talking to the waitress and she like threw the octopus and it hit like a picture on the wall and all that shit. And then if all of that wasn't cheesy enough, they just had to just put the whipped cream and cherry on top. So they asked for the check. Well, Io asked for the check, and of course she passed the check off to Zoe. Like, nah, you paying for this, and I had a good time. Whatever. Then this is where it gets cheesy. She asked for a takeout box, and when the waitress comes back, she was like, "Do y'all know each other?" She was like, "No, no, we don't know each other." And she was like, "Well, where are you from?" "Oh, I'm originally from Kansas." This was the waitress. Then she was like, "Oh, I'm originally from Kansas." And then Zoe pretends to box up the stuff, but then she's like, "You know what? I don't want any of this." And then she just walks out.
What?
Yeah. She paid for the meal and all of that other stuff, but I would just personally say this was by far one of the worst segments I've ever seen on NXT.
Like, why would it have been important if she knew the waitress or not, if she just spoke Japanese?
That's the thing. What did it matter that Io knew the waitress? It's the fact that they both spoke Japanese. It was fine. That's all it needed to be. Yeah. And you can see from Deesley's face, the whole time this segment was happening, I was like, why isn't this segment over? Why isn't this segment over?
NXT, you're treading WWE water. Chill out.
Exactly.
Here's my issue. Me watching this segment solidified what I said a long time ago. Why did you put the tag titles on them? because this one had nothing to do with the tag titles. I mean, it was really them being like, oh, I'm glad that we're at this because now we're able to, kind of bond. Because then she brought up Kairi Sane.
Yeah, she brought up Kairi Sane. She was like, I want us to be cool and close as you are to Kairi.
Yeah, and it's just like, one, they've already established there's no chemistry there between these two. There was no mention of the tag titles. They haven't been really on TV as far as in the CWC since they won the tag titles. So
they haven't been in the building since they won the tag titles.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you've had Indy and Candice within a segment and promos and anything regarding anything that has to do with the way. Why not keep the titles on them? They could have easily beat Zoe Stark and Io Shirai, and Io Shirai and Zoe Stark still could have had this whole segment if they would have lost to the way. And like, hey, we lost because we didn't have any chemistry. And then they could have built this up moving forward. But them putting the titles on them is so premature because it doesn't benefit anybody in any way, shape, or form. This hurts the way. This doesn't help them. And the tag titles are just there. So
I think this only helps Io, so she can probably be a Triple Crown champion at some point.
In that situation, yeah. But other than that, it's like,
no, that's just about the only positive I see out of this. Like, why put the titles on them like this? Like, aside from her about to get called up, like, I feel like that's the only reason that they even put a title on her.
So she had both the women's and both women's titles. But yeah, it wasn't a good. Excuse me, sorry, it wasn't a good segment at all. Like it
sound like it.
It was very cringe, very cringe,
very fucking cringe.
I don't go to the next segment, but I just had to go and get that out the way.
No, I'm glad you did because I didn't want to have to deal with it, and I know it was going to piss me off. But I'm glad that you had the idea to bring it up now because now we can go from something that was completely cringe and trash to something that made the most sense and was fucking awesome. And that's Dakota Kai's explanation as to why she did what she did to Raquel Gonzalez.
I'm gonna say this right here before you get into it because I'm gonna let you break it down.
Okay.
When you get a villain explanation, you know how sometimes villains have explanations and you're just like, fam, that's why you're a villain? Shut the fuck up. Go on somewhere. This heel / villain explanation is up here.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's up here. She did that. And I'm going to let Mr. Deasley break it down for y'all. But she did that. She has all the reasons to be upset.
Yeah, and it's like you can't even be mad because everything about it makes so much fucking sense. Because so the way that she broke it down was she basically stated that she picked Raquel up from obscurity, and they brought in the fact of how she lost in the Mae Young Classic against Casey Catanzaro, and how basically she gave her a role, and she basically. She basically stated that she used Raquel without saying that she used Raquel because the way that she worded it was that Raquel got rid of everybody standing in Dakota's way along in the journey to her championship. And so basically when the opportunity presented itself for her to get that championship, the contract was given to Raquel. Io didn't even look at Dakota. And she said that Raquel basically took an opportunity that was meant for her and didn't even think about giving that contract to Dakota. So then she stated that even after that, she stated all she wanted was for her to make sure that she had championships. So she basically stated that once they got the tag team championships, that's all she wanted. When they lost, she just wanted Raquel to help her get that championship back. But because she was so focused and blinded by the fact that she had gold, she wasn't worried about Dakota having gold either. So her mind was clouded and focused on the NXT championship. So, and then even after Raquel had stated that there was no one left, Dakota was like, you were so blinded by you having gold that you never saw it coming. And I like the way that they put that, because everybody saw this turnaround coming, and they made that shit make sense by saying that she was so clouded by the fact that she was NXT Women's Champion that she couldn't see the same thing that everybody else saw. And that is beautiful to make that shit make sense, because she said she's not a sidekick. She's not a fucking sidekick, and there is somebody else. She's left. And beautiful. Fucking
one time for the one time, guys.
One time for the
Dakota Kai-Lo.
Dakota
Kai-Lo.
I saw you put the graphic up there. That'll be next week.
I thought you wanted to get it in for the one time.
No, it'll be next week when she gives her response.
When she get, but so basically also Raquel's going to give her response, which I'm glad about that too. That they didn't try to put this whole thing over into one show. They're spreading it out. So kudos.
Oh, another segment we need to get out the way. Camilla, Frankie, and Robert Stone was in the back, and Mac and Kenzie was asking what's the relationship.
I was just about to ask all that.
Yeah, and Mac and Kenzie asked what's the relationship here, and Frankie was like, it could be a takeover, it could be working with them, but the thing is, I'm not used to working with losers. Yeah, I'm not used to being a loser. So if they want to start rolling with me, they're gonna have to learn how to win and be winners.
Yeah, so, she said if this group is gonna work, there needs to be like a revamp of sorts. So I'm assuming she's gonna make changes to the Robert Stone brand or make her own faction with.
It's probably gonna be the Frankie Monet brand or something. We don't know.
Yeah,
but
no disrespect or anything, but that's a lot of big talk for a woman that just took an L last week.
Shh, we don't count
that. Just saying. I'm not used to working with losers, even though I just lost last week.
You didn't see that, Jaeger. It didn't happen.
Oh, okay. All right.
It didn't happen.
Man, I must be getting old in my young age.
Yeah. You didn't see that.
After that, we had a interview with Johnny Wrestling and Candice LeRae regarding the Love Her or Leave Her match.
Oh yeah, that match.
So they basically said it was going to be over because there's no place for Dexter Lumis within the way or anything like that. So they said the Indy's going to be free after this. Pretty much the paint by the numbers. Johnny was going to end this whole thing. So that's what that was.
Yes.
But from that point, we end up getting into the final match of the first round of the NXT Breakout Tournament, featuring Trey Baxter and Joe Gacy. This was probably my least favorite match.
It was. It wasn't as exciting, to say the least. I'm sorry. And to be honest with you, I was not expecting the winner either.
Yeah, same. So it looks like they're doing the same type of match on both sides of the brackets, which I don't like. Basically small man, big man, with the big man pretty much going over on both ends, so that we can get a big man match between Odyssey Jones.
And but basically now Trey Baxter hit a sweet 450 stomp on Joe Gacy, and that's how he won the match.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Well, it wasn't necessarily a 450. It was a somersault. It was a somersault stomp. It was a over stomp.
It's funny because Tempest from Wrestle Talk kind of pointed this out too when I noticed. It's not a 450 because it was funny how he said he was like it was a 360 because he landed in the same position that he landed in. So it really wasn't a 450 stomp. It was more of a 360 stomp.
It was more of a 360 stomp.
Yeah. So
it was still nice, but that's how Trey Baxter beat Joe Gacy.
Which those damn top rope stomps just they make me cringe a little bit because I'm like, I don't. just again,
A lot
hey,
of
whatever.
momentum. You could really like stiffly hit somebody.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's what
absolutely.
worries me. But I will say this about, I mean, the negative stuff I had to say aside, this is the one thing that I don't get about WWE main roster because NXT is basically building up the future for you with having these tournaments, with building up these new stars to have them have some type of momentum behind them to elevate them and push them so that way they'll be ready for the main roster side. But it's like all this shit is for naught at NXT because all they do is do whatever the fuck they want to do on the main roster to the point to where, well, sorry, to the detriment of those that actually transitioning up to the main roster. So it's like, what's the point of NXT and these breakout tournaments anyway if all they're gonna do is be fed to the main roster and become nothing?
Mediocre.
Yeah, at best.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it is what it is. I still look forward to this tournament, and the end of it, I still see Duke Hudson winning this whole thing to have his heel run on NXT. So,
Oh man, Odyssey Jones.
I don't
oh,
know. Honestly, could end up winning it.
he could, but I see them building him as like a sympathetic heel. I mean, sorry, sympathetic face to Duke Hudson because Duke Hudson, the way that he portrayed himself on commentary last week, I'm like, I'm all for this.
True.
Like he's
True.
good. So I feel that they're going to use him to help build up Odyssey Jones along the way, but not without a loss.
Okay.
So
okay.
That's just my assessment. But from there, after this match happened,
oh wait. Before we go, one of those two men, maybe both, are not going to be in NXT long.
Oh, between Odyssey Jones and Duke Hudson?
One of them two gonna get called up within a year span from today. One of those two, if not both, are going to get called up.
I'd probably say it'll be Duke Hudson.
That's who I was more leaning towards, Duke. But yeah,
just because he's still, again, and it's funny because Wade Barrett is on commentary. He gives off like a better Wade Barrett vibe.
He kind of does.
So I if he went to the main roster, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd expect it, and I'd expect big things from him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but right after that,
and then he'd get some bad news. Anyways,
bad
news, Hudson. Who knows?
Karrion Kross came out, and he basically touted the same thing. Karrion Kross
Wait, hold on. Before we continue, you know what's hilarious about this? Because we actually saw this in Jaeger. If you want to go back and watch it, that's fine. This is the segment they had to refilm twice.
Really?
Oh, it was this one.
Yeah. This was the segment they had to refilm twice. And the only reason why I sound so just about it, because it wasn't worth refilming twice. It wasn't worth it. Only thing that happened, Kross got on the the announce table, says some shit to Joe. Joe rushes the ring with the security surrounding him. Kross makes his escape. Joe beats the shit out of security. End of segment.
Right. Yeah, because Kross wasn't running from anything. He just literally said what he had to say, and then just walked away through the through the audience. And the crazy thing is about it,
scene that they recorded twice.
Joe's
because the fans were chanting Hardy while this was happening.
Joe's intensity was the best thing about this whole thing because Joe just gives off a "Hey, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker, once I get my hands on you" vibe to the point where I'm like, "Yo, there's nothing more believable than Joe right now." Period.
Mm-hmm.
Kross looks like a shell of himself because even when he came out, I'm just like,
yeah, he doesn't even, because I mean, they keep showing him without Scarlett, and since he took that L to Jeff Hardy, he doesn't even seem like the guy who was running roughshod over NXT anymore.
No, not at all. Like his whole demeanor's changing. I think that he's starting to understand that because it's like his mannerisms reflect that. And that's the crazy thing. So yeah.
Good old
that was
WWE
that.
main roster. They break you down so they can build you back up to maybe something.
Yeah, I mean, I still hope for the best, but I don't expect much on main roster for Cross. At least right now.
Wait. The quick sidebar to that.
Okay.
If you're looking at both shows, look at the champions of both shows. You have Bobby Lashley, who, by the way, quick sidebar with Bobby. Bobby had a segment with Oldberg Monday.
Oh, that whole segment was just
wait. Oh, the funniest part about this segment, Jaeger, because I know you didn't see it.
No.
Bobby Lashley was looking at Oldberg like, if you don't get this white motherfucker out my face, I am going to break this bastard. There was no intimidation in Bobby's face at all.
No, none.
Goldberg's promo wasn't intimidating, and Bobby was looking at him like, I am going to kill you, old man. Do not make me, I will slip a disc in your, do not make me hurt you, old man. Do not make me hurt you in front of your damn son.
Which I feel bad for that.
That's the way Bobby was looking at Oldberg the whole time when Oldberg was doing his little promo in Bobby's face. Bobby gave off this look like, I am going to kill this guy. Fuck him being a legend. Fuck who y'all chanting for. Fuck this who next shit. I am going to kill this man at SummerSlam. So you have that. Then you have the tribal chief on SmackDown.
Who's wonderfully.
Yeah. Where does Cross fit in any of this?
No.
Cross, he can't be his dominant self. And then if he would have ran to Bobby Lashley and Lashley shuts that shit down, then it would have been like, oh, well, Cross, go on somewhere.
Yeah.
You badass until you got to the champion, and now you ain't the badass no more. So the problem is, Cross is going to be in a very unique position when he fully goes to Raw, because you're going to have this other big intimidating man along with the Damian Priest, along with the Sheamus, along with the Drew McIntyre, and the champion Bobby Lashley. It's going to be like, how are you going to make yourself a different dominant big man with all these other big men that are on the same roster as you?
Exactly.
How are we supposed to be intimidated by Cross when Damian Priest got a better debut than he did?
Damian Priest did it. You're right. Keith Lee got a better.
Oh yeah, he sure did.
I mean, hell, regardless of whether we like it or not, T-Bar and Mace are still there, who are other big men. So you have a lot of big men who are just there. How is Cross going to make himself dominant in that Raw landscape?
I guess he shows up and puts a whooping on Bobby Lashley. I don't know.
But
I mean, if they book him like that,
ultimately, in the end, if they book him to lose against Bobby, then that would be for nothing.
True.
Yeah. They need to go ahead,
beat up Lucha House Party. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah, this whole like trying to figure out or dissect main roster is almost impossible because of the nonsensical decisions that they make. I mean, it's just why?
Exactly.
Yeah, just why the fuck is any of it happening for the most part? Speaking of why the fuck is anything happening for the most part? This main event.
Can we really be honest? Can we really be honest?
Yeah, go ahead.
Y'all go ahead because I have no idea what happened.
So remember, the rules were if Johnny wins, Dexter Lumis is gone. If Lumis wins, they'll give Johnny a chance. They'll give Lumis a chance.
Yeah.
If Lumis wins. It started off like a typical match. Of course, at some point, Indy ran out there. Candice came out there. It led to a fight, brawl, this, that, and the other. They were still doing the same old, same old. And you know how it ended, Jaeger?
Oh, no.
Johnny Gargano hits the one final beat to Dexter Lumis and gets the 1, 2, 3. Now, this is the thing that makes this next part interesting, but Johnny Gargano made it better on Twitter.
Oh, did he?
Johnny Gargano made it better on Twitter. So, Lumis lost. He's in the ring. He's defeated. They're taking they're taking Indy, and they're going up the ramp. Indy says, fuck it. She runs in the ring and starts tonguing down Lumis.
Yeah, making the point of this match null and void.
Yeah, she made it null and void. She starts tonguing down Lumis. They start rolling around in the ring, kissing each other, and Johnny and Candice are at the ramp like, the fuck? Now, the reason why I said Johnny makes it better.
Make it make sense, Scoop.
Huh?
Make it make sense.
While this is happening, the NXT graphic pops up that the show is ending. Johnny says, see, I told y'all, nothing good ever happens when that lower third graphic pops up. Because remember, when that lower third graphic pops up, that's when Tommaso Ciampa betrayed him.
Okay.
So when he said that, that's when I was like, you know what, Johnny? You actually made that segment a little bit better. So yeah, after all of that, Johnny winning, Index still became a thing.
Okay. I can give Johnny's side the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
But I still have to shit over this.
Because because the match wasn't even that great, to be honest with you.
Indy was the one that made the stipulation.
That is true.
So, like, by all accounts, she should be the one to abide by it. I can understand if, like, Johnny and Candice was like, okay, you know what? We'll compromise. And they did it. And then she just said, fuck it. I still want to do it regardless of stipulation. But she's the one that made the fucking stipulation.
Yep.
And I'm just like, I don't know. Hopefully they make this shit better by next week and we get something. But, you know, I just
and the thing was too, it wasn't like it wasn't, and then you know, it wasn't treated like Indy ran in there to kiss him goodbye or anything. Yeah. She ran in there like, fuck what my parents have to say. I want the guy, you know. That's how she the way it ran in there. It was like, I don't care what my parents have to say. You're the love of my life, Dex. You know, it wasn't like she kind of was doing like a kiss goodbye type situation. It was like, no, I don't care what the stipulation to this match was. I want my man. And it was like, all right, fam, y'all got it.
Yeah.
So to be honest, to be perfectly,
did we just see the breakup of the way?
That's what NXT teased on their Instagram. They teased that this could be the breakup of the way. But
because of Dexter Lumis over here.
If it wasn't for the Hit Row and Legato thing, this show would have just been meh. Kind of like this, to bring that back around, kind of like that tier list that I spoke of earlier in the show that y'all should go check out, because 56 different stables in WWE and WWF, we ranked them. And meh was one of the tier ranks. So I would put this episode of NXT in the meh rank.
Yeah, definitely meh, because there were some good parts of this for sure. But yeah, this was, for me, it was a very lackluster NXT. But I mean, they're gonna have these shows. Yes. I'm not surprised, but yeah, it's just it's okay though. I expect it. It's not as bad as Raw or some parts of SmackDown. So cool, but
yeah,
still meh. But
damn.
Go Jaeger.
No, I was just saying. So, should I go back and watch this episode of
Now, I
NXT?
mean, really the hit roll and legato thing, if anything. But other than that, there was really nothing that was like a must-see moment. And maybe that could be because it was the whole pre-tape thing, and next week's episode will be back live again. Maybe that's the reason, but it wasn't really nothing worth checking out, honestly. Not to like, if you got something better else to do and or watch.
Yeah.
Like AEW.
Sir.
I mean, sir, not to cross promote or anything.
This is not that This is not the episode, sir.
You're right. You're right.
We do not have to besmirch NXT for the other.
You're right. You're right. Because I mean, again, they're just an alternative. They're not really competition.
Yeah. And plus, don't forget.
I mean, it's not like one brand kind of kicked the other off on Wednesday night.
And then don't forget, these are developmental guys. I mean,
that's true.
We can't
lock them in the same thing.
On the same.
I mean, so then should I stop doing Jaeger After Dark so we can just review NXT and?
I mean, yeah, because it's not dark. Yeah, because it's not like they're airing on at the same time as like AEW's developmental shows like Elevation or Dark.
Oh wait,
they are
Tuesdays.
So I mean, we can't help that WWE sees NXT as developmental. It's not their fault,
right?
WWE Dark. I mean, what?
But I will ask the glaring question.
Wait. You know what's funny? I'm gonna be all the way honest with you. I don't fully keep up with 205 Live, but you know what 205 Live has kind of became.
Wait, it's still going on?
Yeah.
Is it WWE Dark?
It's kind of became like their Elevation, kind of.
Oh,
wow.
No. Like, it'll be Dark because if NXT is Elevation, then 205 Live will be Dark.
Damn.
To be perfectly honest with you.
Ow. Yeah, NXT would probably be Elevation if we're gonna compare brands.
Yeah, if we're gonna compare it, NXT would be Elevation. And whatchamacallit would be Dark. 205, yeah, but 205 Live is still a thing.
So wait, do they even feature exclusively to under 205 wrestlers now? Or
From what I've been seeing, I know Odyssey Jones wrestled on there at one point.
He's definitely not under
Joe Gacy. So I haven't seen it last week, but I think it's been more than just two of. I know Drake Maverick. I think it's became like the new mainstay over there now. But yeah, I think it's kind of became where it just might end up. I wouldn't be surprised if they rename it to something else.
Okay, fair enough. Well then, I mean, with that shit said, I will ask the glaring question. Scoot, you got any final thoughts?
Hit row, legato, Dakota Kai's explanation, and there you go.
Indeed. Jaeger, I know you didn't watch NXT.
Of course, Cameron.
Yeah, always Cameron Grimes.
Of course, Cameron Grimes.
I know you didn't watch it, Jaeger, but I mean, based on the description of what we gave, you got any final thoughts?
Just a bunch of
Fair enough. That's probably about as good as it's gonna get on that one. I'll give you that. I'll end it with this. NXT, make it make sense. Make it all make sense. Everything. Just make it make sense. Period. Scoot, where can these mother effers find you?
Find me at the ScooterRay, IG, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. That's where you can find me because I don't want to be in the diamond mines this week. You can also find me with the ninjas on the same platforms I just listed, and
Absolutely.
Anchor, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Our recent episode of Ninja Banter features these two lovely gentlemen as well. So I got a chance to mix and blend both of my families in one big
Yep.
episode. So that's what you can find me. You can find me just being a neutral party this week. You know, I'm not in the diamond mines this week, guys. You know, sometimes you got to come up for air. And this is the week I came up for air.
Right.
But more importantly, ladies, I know you missed him.
You did.
You know, he was absent for a good part of the show. So
But came for y'all.
Yeah, he came for y'all. So with that being said, I want to throw it to Mr. Jaeger Bombastic.
No. Y'all want to find me, y'all know where my name's at. But with the underwhelming sense of this episode of NXT, you know what? Y'all don't get the promo from me.
Damn.
Fair enough.
Mr. Leb Dizzle, what can you suggest to these people who apparently might be a little heartbroken about this bit of news?
Wow, that's an amazing segue. Oh my gosh.
It
was. Oh, but I mean, because of the heartbreak trail that's left, thanks to Jaeger, if you do need that positivity in your life, need some nice direction to find that guide and light, bars. You can check Lifestyle One Up to get the daily dose every Monday through Friday on all your podcast listening platforms. Just Google it so you can find it. Period, point blank, plain and simple. But if you want to shoot the shit, hit up Lip Deasley at your IGs, Twitters, your TikToks, your YouTubes, your so on and so on and so forth, whatever. Just hit me up. Let me know. But other than that, with this YouTube shit, for all of you who have opinions, concerns, or whatever, whether you loved it, hate it, don't forget to rate it with a thumbs up or thumbs down. Comment down below. Hit that notification bell for all these motherfucking updates, for all the shit that we do. Tier list, reviews, recaps, all that good shit.
All right. Let me address these motherfuckers who want to give shit a thumbs down. Your thumbs down ain't gonna mean shit to us because we're gonna still keep making content, bitches. How about that?
Well, that's true. Look, I mean, I'm not wearing the hat now, but I have a hat that says I love my haters. But we're all for the disagreement as well. But again, if you do disagree, just like I said before, make it make sense. It make sense.
Forget the making sense. If you got a thumbs down, I'll tell you what you can do. You can turn out the lights, maybe light some candles, maybe turn on some music, get some oil, get you all situated. And you can take that thumb, you can lay down on your bed, and you can put it right up your ass. But
that's right.
Hey, you might like it. Try new things in life.
I mean, look, I will say this. There hasn't been a thumbs down yet, but if there is one, I dare you, along with everybody else, to motherfucking subscribe and let us change your motherfucking mind. But with that said, I give it 2 sweet to my bros.
Oh yeah.
Bada boom.
Hey,
as always, and Loki too. And as always, to you beautiful mother effers, I bid you adieu. And a mother effing tag the fucketh out.